This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Hi there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, Worldwide TV Network, WomenOnTV.tv, iTunes 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee. And so this is a great show on this one in this day because the one and only Vincent Spinnato drove all the way back up. So it is that day. It's talking about his book. It's talking about his documentary. It's talking about the things, everything Judy Garland estate, and what he's creating with that certified nose and everything. And then, believe it or not, Vincent, Auggie was supposed to be on the other show. I just thought about that. And he didn't have the products. They didn't come in, so he didn't want to come in. I just thought about that.
So lucky for Auggie.
Yeah, exactly. It's about Scosche car accessories and everything like that. And we got a couple of things to talk about that I really like. The Air Purifier, and he will talk about things that he had. Obviously, we have nonstop Terri Marie to pay no attention to the young lady in the light blue dress or whatever she's wearing, but she does look good today.
I'm wearing sky blue.
I like it. No, I can't say that. She actually looks really pretty today. I have to get her credit because she was on vacation and she didn't get eaten by a bear, but she'll tell that story in a minute. And we got our B-boy, our dancer, our number one, and one of our only two male co-hosts, the one and only Cyber Chuck 2.0, Charles Campbell.
Snoop CC.
All right, let's get into this. So, Auggie, I got to start with you. Let's talk about this air purifier. Let's talk about Scosche products.
Okay, before we talk about the products, let me just tell you a little bit about the company. Scosche is 42 years old. It's run by a family, and their names are the Owls. Roger Elves started it 42 years ago out of his garage. It was more of car audio 12-volt products back then, about 92, when the eldest son, Cass, came aboard. More consumer tech started driving the market, thinking about more accessories, and that's kind of where we took off. So we started at 12 volt, we were strong, but as soon as consumer tech came along, we blew up and we dwarfed our previous, we still do 12 volt in car audio, but now the consumer tech side of the business is kind of our main focus. We are the #1 mount brand in the world, verified via NPD data in the United States, and we're the #1 mount brand.
And show that to that camera. Just put it out there.
So this is Scosche's HEPA filter. You saw this at CES last year. What it is, it's a air purifier and deodorizer. It's going to eliminate up to 95.5 particulates in the air. So any kind of pet dander, odor, food odor, anything that's happening in the small environment, it'll take away. It'll take away odors, bacteria, anything like this.
So for anybody who's doing a radio show podcast, you'll love this because everybody needs this, not only for your car, I would use it flying in a plane, believe it or not. We talked about this at the last show. I think it would work. I think it would be quite interesting.
Oh, absolutely, it would work. And I meant to say germs and bacteria earlier. Inside Uber, a Lyft driver, a bus, or just a small
anybody who's
gym.
got allergies. Terri's got allergies.
Yep.
She's allergic to everything. This would help her.
So this is perfect for like a small gym. Now that when COVID started, a lot of the gyms were closed. So this is perfect if you turned your office into maybe an exercise room. You could set this up. You have pets, pet odor, to eliminate pet odor in a car. So this is a very handy piece for people who want to breathe easy, that don't want to breathe pollen, like we talked about earlier. So it's going to eliminate all that from the air. The reason why we got ours, little story that I told you before, is during the California wildfires, our house smelled like smoke really bad. So my wife got two big ones and put one in our room and one in our daughter's room. and it eliminated the smoke odor. Like, I think within like a couple hours, it was gone. The whole house. Then we got a cat. So we put the filter next to the cat litter, and it really works because I'm a little allergic to cats too. When I feel my sinuses get clogged up is when the cat goes to use the kitty box or the kitty litter. That's when I feel, and that's when I run into the room and I turn on the HEPA filter, because usually as soon as it sucks up all that stinky stuff, I breathe better.
So if you can see this, I love this product because I like that it's portable. I like that you can plug it in. I like that it takes away all those pollens and odors and things like that, because we're all being sequestered still in a way in small rooms like we are in like right now, but it's really handy and I really like this. And I found them at the CES show. It's a Consumer Electronics show. I love technology like this. So when you have a certified nose like Vincent has, nobody else will have that.
Right.
This is even more important. We were talking about this on the last show. How important is when you do what you do? Your main concern was like if you lost your sense of smell, and I never even thought about that. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, it's having a clean environment in general in any kind of lab setting, because when you are working with oils, you don't want them to permeate, into each other. So if you're working with lavender, if you're working with eucalyptus, you don't want them to actually, kind of counterbalance each other. But with the pandemic, and the coronavirus, again, I personally have not got it yet. Thank God. I hope I don't get it. But again, I was worried from the very, very day one that if I get this thing, because we hear the sense of smell is one of the first things to go and taste, of course. So as a perfumer and a nose, it's a big fear of mine. I try and avoid this thing if I can, and again, everything I can use to make it easier myself, for sure, we'll do it.
I'd love to get one of these in your hands just so you can use it, because I just thought about you. So if you're going to work, right, you're going to smell all these different fragrances. Right. Would eliminating all the odors in your car on your way to the office be like a good thing? Yeah. Maybe kind of like people cleanse their palates, right? Like,
right, exactly, yeah.
With water before they taste something new. So for you, it'd be your nose. So if you plug this in, eliminate all the odors in your car as you're driving to the office, and when you get there, you're like, okay, I can now open up a new book.
And the real, actually, drilled down version of that is that we're doing it for 100 years. We actually smell coffee in between different fragrances, and the coffee beans break up the notes in the nose. So to your point, we do it now in a drilled down, more mainstream version of that, by trying to get yourself a clean palette all the time to work off of. So that's a great idea to do that. Yeah.
Let's talk about your book. You've worked with a lot of people. You've got some great experience in this book. I was talking earlier. I finally have read it for the third time. When I last saw it was 2.5. Now it's actually the third time. And the reason that I really like this book, because
it stands well on the floor.
Well, that too. But the thing about this is that you got so many interesting experiences in there. Whether it's you flying, whether it's you, just how you grew up getting into college. Talk about those aspects, and talk about your documentary, which I think is fascinating.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people like the book so much because it really is everything what not to do in like 35 chapters. So like I always say, I have like these podcasts and the interviews that I do, and like, what do you want the reader to take away from the book? What's the most takeaway? I'm like, the most important takeaway is do absolutely nothing else in the book. Like whatever you read, don't do it. You'll be successful a lot faster. So it's really almost kind of a self-help book that fell out, I kind of call it. But so it's really, it was like, so it was not an easy, journey starting on my career by myself as an entrepreneur and getting to what I'm doing now. I still have a million things to learn. And it never stops, but it just was not an easy road, and just every roadblock you possibly could imagine, in between.
So, Terri, you haven't read this book yet, but this is one I would recommend to you because you would find it fascinating, and you'd be laughing your ass off. The stuff that's really happened.
I already know I'd be laughing because he's funny.
Well, he's really funny. He's here all week.
Right, that's right.
But I love his facial stuff. It's awesome.
Well, we got to talk about that caviar and diamonds.
That's right. Oh, you've been using that, that's right?
Yes. That's why I'm glowing. That's why it looks so good, Brian.
Yeah, see, that's why. See, you talk about it. You've been using it. What do you think?
Well, it just makes a difference on my. Well, I went to Alaska too, so I think a combination of being out with the fresh air,
right,
and with the products, it just brings a lot of hydration to the skin.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm glowing.
Yeah.
So
that's aging in reverse.
See, and the reason why I liked it because it made my pores open up, but it made me shine.
Right.
I love the smell for that.
Yeah.
And I'm not a.
You don't look nearly as ashy as last time.
Well, I feel much better. I mean, we're talking about that. I have my eczema was coming back, so I put it on it. And automatically, I could feel that, and that made me.
The
capsules, yes.
It made me feel better.
Yeah,
and I really like that. So, talk about how you created that.
Well, to your point, first of all, with the eczema, I mean, eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, all those conditions with the caviar capsule using, they're very rich in amino acids and anti-inflammatory, so that will actually help, soothe down your eczema. But the line was created specifically to launch in Dubai originally, because that's where we had a distributor, that's where we were actually making it. And Dubai is one of the diamond capitals of the world as far as mining diamonds and actually making them. So we to kind of divide this line around caviar and diamonds being just a kind of high-end prestige, kit. And when the reason why it was done specifically is that diamonds are very rich in earth metals, and caviar, of course, is the spinal life of fish, is very oceanic. And so we have about 75% oceanic elements of our body, the 25% are roughly earth metal. So the caviar and diamond combination is to replenish all the earth metals and the mineral oceanic elements that we have that we lose on a monthly basis. Our epidermis of our skin, specifically on our face, resurfaces every 24 to 28 days. Men happen a lot faster for us. We shave, more often. We shave, obviously. So we're actually, as men, we're actually causing more damage to our skin than women actually are doing. We're causing micro tears with the razors. So
That's not good.
no. So, and again, it's all naked to the invisible, to the actual eye. But these micro tears eventually will, especially what's within we'll call it acne, ingrowns, and with women, they just resurface naturally. And then, women have their problem almost kind of 3 times in life. It's really teenage years, PMS, menopause, and also pre and post pregnancy. So we kind of get it 1 time, puberty. Women get it 3 times in their life. Their whole body can be completely different kind of hormones, different kind of reactiveness. So all these ingredients together are meant to help with cell turnover, balance out the hormones, balance out the skin for women and men both.
So Chuck, let's talk about this, because again, we get into not only just skincare, but what I should say, just doing better with your body, getting into that spirit, getting into breathing deeply, because everybody's going through all kinds of stress and anxiety these days. How do you alleviate yours? What do you do?
So basically every morning I wake up and I do my morning videos to inspire, to motivate. And then once I put down the phone, I go on, I exercise. And then when I'm done running or whatever my exercise routine is, I sit down and I do breath work. So I breathe in, breathe out. I run about 3 rounds of that. And then once I'm done with that, I go into a meditation. I put some music on. So I have headphones on. So I knock out the rest of the world and just kind of tune into that. And just breathe and just go to another place where my mind is just relaxing and clearing and resetting.
And I think we have a photo of you. I don't know where you were sitting. I think you were sitting on a mountain or hill or something like that. It's kind of interesting to see. I think we have.
So recently, I took a trip out to Big Bear and just wanted to disconnect from the city and everything, and went out into the wilderness. And wow, when you open up your mind and your heart to new things, and you're not stuck on physical items, there's so much out there that is just priceless. And I'm sitting on a rock right there and just giving thanks to Mother Earth and just to nature.
You look, you're balanced on a rock. Actually, it's more than just sitting.
I'm balancing on the rock too.
He's balancing on a rock, but I think he has one of him balancing on his head too, right?
I do have one on there. So I was at the lake's edge.
Oh, wow.
And just out there, just really enjoying life and just disconnecting. A lot of these things are free in life. If you can open up your mind and just to go out into nature, you really re-energize yourself and you leave so energized. And when I came home, I was like, just so energized and ready to get back at it.
So. Your fans are being really, really happy, because when you have, I obviously chime on too when you're doing that too. And obviously we had him earlier in the earlier show today. I had a Hold You in Vince's book, and I like, this is interesting. You have a really clear picture, which I liked. So I took this one. No, you sent it to me. That one's yours. Yeah. But it's a really nice, clear picture, and I like that one because you're holding Vince's book.
That's better for all of us.
Yeah. This is just, getting into that mindset of just balance and just, I always say when you believe in something, you can do anything. So it's just setting your mindset, because you have to really focus down your mind to get the balance in. Because if your mind's so scattered around, you're going to fall off. So it's just a lot of focusing, practicing. It's just a daily routine. So what it is you have to be consistent, and it just has to become a routine. And when it's a routine, it's like just riding a bicycle. I can jump on my head like nothing. It's not a big deal.
Well,
Now, do you do it all in your own head, or do you actually? Or the reason I'm asking this is I can't stay still for a second. So if I'm guided through meditation, I can actually do it. But if I got to say, okay, I'm going to take, to your point, if I'm going to take 5 minutes in the morning, I'm going to do it. Like I can't do it. But if I'm guided, like if you were there talking to me, doing it, then I could do it.
So with meditations for me, like I could totally relate to that meditating alone with nothing, it's quite hard because your mind can go other places. So I'll do some like guided like breath work, like on YouTube. I have some things.
All right.
Put it on and I can have someone telling me. And then I'll do it myself as well too. And then the music, I just pick a certain song and I just allow that song to go. And it just really allows me to disconnect. And when I come back, everything is so epic.
And don't pick like WAP or something like that. Something more, a little more toned down.
Something real relaxing.
A little more relaxing.
Yeah.
Okay.
well, and then you were talking about being disembobulated, kind of. I was thinking of Terri, but she came back from Alaska and she was doing really, really well.
I still am.
No, you are. I'm actually quite proud of you. You know, I'll say it. She's kind of like my sister that you love to hate, literally.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Oh,
I mean, we have
no.
those little fights, anything like that. But no, we've connected. We've come a long way.
We've worked together for 6 years, yeah.
No. All right. So talk about you going on stage. Talk about you going to Alaska and hanging out with your bear friends.
Oh, okay. So, about 3 was it? I guess time is all blurred together. I guess it was maybe 2.5 weeks ago.
You've been having a good last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was able to introduce the band Wicked Kid Star at the Whiskey a Go-Go, which was cool because I haven't been to kind of a venue in a long time, you know, since COVID. So that was exciting. I got to introduce the band. Brian came to like the Brutus on.
She dragged me.
So I dragged you. And the reason that I was introducing them is because I was just we filmed their new video yesterday for their new release for their new album, and I'm going to be featured in the video as the lead. Well, actually, I'm the only as the lead female. So I
deserve that.
I don't want to talk too much about it because we have to wait till I have the release date of the album and the video. So that is coming up. But prior to that, I went to Alaska with my girlfriend Karen because I just needed to get away from all the craziness. And we stayed in Anchorage and we took a 2-hour plane ride out to see the bears eating salmon. And this is the time of year that they have to all get fat before they hibernate. So I'm relating to what you're saying with nature. It was a lot of fun. We took one of those private little planes, landed in the water. It was kind of interesting because when we were trying to leave, there was some cubs that, you know, were running on the beach and we had to back up and respect the bears because before you can roam around the bear camp, you got to go to bear school. So they teach you, you know, how to not get eaten by a bear. So I was good. My mom was paranoid. She kept calling me going, "You're going to get hurt by a bear. Campbell, you're doing this." I'm like, "Mom, no, it's okay. We're fine." So
hopefully you had on your running shoes that day.
Yeah, I did have my hiking shoes on and stuff. And then we did we went from Anchorage to Alaska. Anchorage to a city called Whittier, which is a fishing town where we went jet skiing on the ocean. 2-hour jet ski to where the glaciers are. There's a waterfall. The birds were chirping. And it was probably one of the most amazing spiritual, like cleansing things I've done in a long time. It was, and you could hear the ice break from the iceberg. It was surreal. So I came back, and then I came back to all the craziness, and I didn't want to come back, but I had to.
And you look nice and relaxed. I can tell you definitely needed that.
Yeah.
So you got a piece of global warming while you're there, like the glacier falling apart.
Yeah. Well,
I feel so balanced, and the glacier's falling wrong.
Those pictures are so inspiring up there. Like I want to go. I want
Yeah,
to
it's
get
so
a jet
beautiful.
ski and go up to a glacier. Look like the Discovery Channel, like the pictures you're showing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I mean, it wasn't that drastic. I mean, every once in a while you just hear you hear the water going up, but it is summer in Alaska right now, so it's the warm period. But it doesn't. The sun is out till, you know, it goes down at like midnight.
Yeah.
So that's.
I didn't see your pictures, but the ones I remember that I saw, they were like Caribbean blue color, like the actual glacier.
The glaciers are blue.
Crazy, yeah. It's like almost transparently blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our guide we went up to the. There's a waterfall that we so be careful because if those ice falls on you, you're dead. So
Right.
he's like, you don't want that ice falling on you.
Yeah.
So
He survived the bear camp, but not the icicles.
glaciers. But it's kind of crazy because there's only 4 of us, but the tour guide, basically has to make sure that you're going through the water because there's glaciers in the water, and they make all these really neat shapes. And there was a couple that actually looked like fish tails coming out of the water. It just was amazing. And I think we talked about this earlier. Like Alaska was not on my list of places to go, but my girlfriend's like, I have a bucket list and I want to go see bears eating salmon, and do you want to go? So I'm like, okay, I need to get the hell out of here.
And she went like right
I was
away.
like, yeah. She's like, want to go? I'm like, yeah, I want to go. I want to go on vacation. So, you know, we all need to, I think, sometimes just disconnect. Leave your cell phone at home. Leave your laptop at home, and just disconnect for a week. It just does a lot for you, because usually when I go on vacation, I have my laptop and I have my phone, but I didn't do any work stuff.
Right.
I didn't even do any TikToks till I got home. So I just basically just had a great time with my friend and just concentrated on that. And yeah, that's really good for your soul.
And I think we have a TikTok video of yours. Which one could it be?
Oh,
I
Oh, let's
Yeah.
see. I want to see.
Oh, wow.
Let's see if we have it.
Now you got to fly back to the angels. Having to wake your heart and flower.
You'll have to explain that. That was yesterday prior to the video shoot, because I had to do a lingerie scene and a bikini scene, and I wore a gown because we're supposed to be doing a photo shoot. So the band's playing in between with the girl with the photo shoot, and then there's a very spicy ending. I'll wait till the video gets released. But yeah, I did a TikTok.
I thought you wore out to the glacier. That's the
No, you wear the glacier. You actually have to wear a dry suit out to the
That's right.
glacier.
Same here, different.
Which
Yeah.
you feel like you have, like, everybody has saggy butts.
Yeah.
You know, with those big glaciers.
Like I haven't been in a gym for this.
Auggie, talk about your background before you got into Scosche. What were you doing?
You know, I've been in the consumer electronic industry about, God, I was just counting the other day, maybe 22 years.
Wow.
I think last CES it was canceled. It was my first one that I hadn't been to in like 19, 20 years or something. But I started off with Panasonic, then went to JVC, and now I am with Scosche. And I like it better because we're faster moving when we do accessories, if that makes any sense. So with Panasonic, it was like big plasma TVs, right? Those went away. JVC had camcorders. Now we have them in our phones, so that went away. With the accessories, I feel that they're more fluid, they're faster, and they can meet customer demand a lot easier. So as products change, as consumer habits change, we follow those changes. And you can tell with our product lineup, you're pretty familiar with it. We change products where they need to be changed, and we keep the ones that are good the way they are. So that's why our product line keeps continuously growing. We have tons of product that we're always changing, making better, and bringing all new product to market, just like this.
And as you're talking, I do want to show this video because it kind of goes into. I don't have an iPhone. I'm a Google
So
guy.
let me set this video up for you. So what we're going to see is Mag Mount Pro 2. So for those of you who are familiar with our magnetic mounts, this particular magnetic mount, to make it simple, is that you're going to be able to use it with phones that have wireless charging and phones that do not have wireless charging. And you'll see it. You'll see other videos. So this is Magic Mountain Pro 2. Take a look.
On a cup holder. Gotcha.
So a lot of dashes out there are super busy, maybe getting more complicated. or big glass screens that maybe you don't want to put anything on. So a cup holder is perfect. To put your mount. And as you can see in the video, it actually telescopes. So you can bring it closer to you or farther away from you, depending on your need and also your vision, right? Some people see a little farther, a little better farther. I'm one of those, so I could kind of make it go farther.
And then you also have something that I'm really interested in, something that cleans the space. Let's say like the studio. Talk about that.
We have a magic fogger. This magic fogger, and if you want to look at this product, it's all on Scosche.com. If you want to take a look at it, and I'll also send you a PowerPoint that way you can have it for your records. Magic fogger, and its solution is the kind of solution that's being sprayed in hospitals, elementary or schools, any public space to kill any bacteria and also to kill the COVID virus. So
And you guys have permission to say that too.
yeah. So in a room like this, you can go around and spray everything down and wipe it down. But the thing that makes it unique and a good talking point, it's that the solution is 100% organic and safe to use. You can use it in an occupied room, so there's no need to empty a room clean, then have them come back. Also, no need to use protective equipment because it's 100% organic. It's not going to harm anything. And to put it simply, it's just water and an electrolysis process. So salt water with electrolysis, to put it simply.
So what Vince does, this is perfect for him too then, huh?
Yeah. It would be
I would totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you're
right.
super paranoid, right? Of getting sick. So
right.
I mean, if you travel, I would totally use it in a hotel room just so I wouldn't get sick. So if you're going to be traveling to Italy, I'd take some HOCl solution in our fogger and spray it down your hotel. And you can rest assured that you're going to be okay.
Yeah, it's on my shopping list for sure.
What do you think about that?
No, I'm on board for sure. I was talking to Auggie this whole time about it. We need to get it in my lab for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because the lab, it's a small space too, but again, we have a lot of customers come in, and I like the fogging thing too. I mean, I would love to have that in the lab where we just could do a kind of clean sweep when customers leave or people leave, just in general,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Talk about what it's like to have cameras follow you around for a while. What was that like?
that was interesting in the sense. It went on for 7 years, so they followed me for 7 years, which is a really long time. It wasn't like every single day of my life, but it's just me. I move very, very quickly, and I do things very quickly, and I'm very aggressive with my business and stuff. So when they say, "Hey, can you pick up that glass again? Can you pick up the glass again? Can you pick up the glass again? Can you?" No, I'm done picking up the glass. If you can't get the shot, pick up the glass. I'm done. So that stuff was kind of really hard. They're like trying to say because they want certain angles, and what part of the reality is the reality of this? If I'm picking up the glass 7 times, so it was hard. I mean, but I wanted to show. I mean, as a personal care chemist, I would say since I was, since I started my career when I was 19 years old, I get asked 3 times a week, "Oh, how do you make that? How do you make that blush? How do you make the shampoo? How do you make whatever?" So we get asked that question all the time. This is finally showing America, and I still can't believe it hasn't been done before. The show actually showing America how you get products from, like, if you guys had an idea as a group of a skincare line, how to get it from your concept actually to the market shelf. And it's about a 2-year process. So we always had that. In a 7-year period of time, you have customers and clients of ours that are in the beginning of the phases, in the middle, and ones that are in the end. But before to get this, get a bottle of water to market, you have the bottle, you have the cap, you have the actuator, you have the label, you have a romance copy, you have barcoding, legal requirements, you have stability, FDA. So you gotta go. It's like it's not like these things can't just a genie blink them to market. It's amazing how long they actually take.
So that makes sense why you only take on 4 clients a year. Is that right?
Actually about 4 to 6 every 18 months, roughly. Yeah, because to my point, because they're always in rotations. And so we have one that are in the middle, one that are in the end, and one that are kind of starting up. So we keep it very boutique, and we do a lot of really high profile, celebrities and that kind of stuff, and they want a lot of attention. Let's call it what it is, right? So we got to hold their hand through the whole process. We want to hold their hand, through the whole process, and so that way they feel that they're getting, But if you're just a housewife, or if you're Lady Gaga, I always say the same thing. Your money is just as green as hers, and vice versa. We treat nobody differently. Your dollar bill is the same as hers, and everyone is treated exactly the same.
And with that, talk about what you're working on now with the Garland estate.
One highlight of my career, by far, is I'm not only was I a fan, but Judy Garland, but I got approached from her estate about a year ago to put a fine fragrance together for her 100th anniversary, which is coming out.
Well, let me ask you. So let me stop you there. Why did they choose you? That must have been an honor because they could have gone with other people, right?
There actually is a whole story behind it, which I'll try and make it brief. But they had a lot of falling. First of all, most of these celebrities, let's call them they have a kind of consortium of 5 celebrities that are considered the biggest icons of all time, which is Marilyn Monroe, Judy Garland, Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, and James Dean. That's kind of the 5 they have in this category. And those estates are very, very, very protected. If you want to put like a pencil out with Marilyn Monroe's fixed face on it, I mean, it's like impossible. And she's so protected. It's the same thing with Judy Garland. Everything had to go through the estate and get approved. And long story short, they had a couple instances where people were putting stuff out there that they weren't approving, big corporations and that kind of thing. And they're very big corporation shy. And they wanted to go with someone like me that was not only a fan of their mother's, but would protect the body of work, protect her legacy, and really understand. Because if you're a $1 billion corporation like a Unilever or a Givaudan or a J&J or Procter & Gamble, they're going to do a phenomenal job. But it's just getting Judy Garland's name and Matt, and they do it so often, right? It's just like there's no personality behind it. It's just using their image. Or just as me, I'm able to work with Lorna, who's Judy's daughter, Liza Minnelli, who's Judy's daughter, Joey Luff, who's Judy's son, and say, okay, what did your mother used to wear? What did she not wear? What did she like? What didn't she like? What was her personality? I knew this all as a fan, but not like hearing it from her children. And what actually was the truth and what things that she enjoyed and didn't enjoy. So it made it 1,000,000 times easier and also 1,000,000 times more personal. So this is a gigantic, massive, legend, and I just really am very sensitive to make sure I get it perfect for the family and for her legacy.
It's got to be just pressure ridden, just how you describe it. I mean, I couldn't imagine.
And I'm not being like a little overly spiritual. You guys may all and think I'm nuts, but she's buried right here in Hollywood Forever Cemetery. And about 6 months ago, I went and I visited her. I went for a visit. And I said, Judy, I'm here. And I did. I chatted with her because it's such a gigantic name and such a gigantic project. I just want to see if I picked up anything energy, if I get any kind of answers. I know it sounds overly kind of campy and spiritual, but I'm not really kind of into that I try and be open to things that are happening around me. So I just went and had a chat with her. It's like, what do you think of it? And I was like, okay, I'm going all in on you here, and this is a big one.
Oh, I think it's interesting. Yeah. It's paying homage to someone that is iconic. It's got an interesting story, and the fact that the daughters and the son are still alive. That's my God, pressure.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you happy with the results of how the documentary came out? Because, like I said, I watched it twice.
I am. It got more of a deeper dive in my personal life than I thought it was going to, which is totally fine. I'm all totally open. That's why the book is like literally I hold nothing back. But it was going to be more showing America from an educational standpoint, how we make products. But I didn't know in the meantime that my house was going to burn down, that I was going to lose a relationship, that my parents were going to die, that I was going to lose, my dog in a fire. I mean, all these kind of different crazy things that happened that just steered the documentary into reality, like almost like a docu-series. So I'm really happy with the way it came out. Jonathan, his name is Jonathan Salami. He's our director, did a brilliant job on it. And 7 years of him working with me, and and I always kind of like bust his balls and make fun of him. One of the things that happened was I had a house fire, and he's a very good friend of mine. I remember talking to him on the phone. Johnny, I know we're I'm outside, blah blah. Like, oh, you getting it on film? I go, my house is burning down. I mean, his mind is like, yeah, you're one of my best friends, you're my buddy, but also I'm a director. Like, are you getting it on camera? I'm like, no, I'm not doing that right now. But we ended up getting some of it on camera because he called my friend, get that on camera. I know Vince is upset right now, but get this, while the house was still burning. I said, I saw all these events. I still have a movie to make. I'm like, all right, so okay, we got to understand.
Yeah, I've been through a burning house with all your possessions. That is not fun. And so imagine just to deal with that call. I get it. Yeah,
and it really was the epitome of starting over. I didn't have even a toothbrush left. I had happened to have everything in that house, and I'm 47 now. It's only happened when I was 44, so it wasn't that long ago. So I started over. It was really, from scratch, with not even a computer or a cell phone or a toothbrush. Or nothing. Lost. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was 7,000 square feet, and it was a big house. And the reason why I'm mentioning the size is I'm very, very sentimental. And I have, my past, my family was musicians. My dad used to play trumpet with Louis Armstrong. So we actually had one of Louis Armstrong's 3 surviving trumpets in my house that I got at Christie's about 20 years ago. I auctioned on it. So just things like that, like my dad's, flag from his coffin because he was a soldier. So things like that. So that was stuff that I can't replace. But besides the personal stuff, it was all my family's history and stuff, and it's all gone in one shot.
Wow, you can't get that back at all.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. When it comes to movies, you're a movie lover, as I would say. You're a movie whore like I am.
I am, absolutely.
Favorite films? Name a couple.
Oh my God! Well, I'm a massive horror movie fan, number one, which is a whole different genre. But favorite movie, I probably gotta go with Gone with the Wind, just because as far as the way it's just made and done, and
It plays great on the big screen. I've
Right,
seen it the
right.
intermission twice, and it's breathtaking. Some people don't like it because they call it racist, whatever. But I
Right.
watch it from a movie point of view, and it
Beautiful,
was really
filmed
good.
beautifully, yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I actually just watched it on TV a couple of weeks ago, and it was all chopped up. To your point, and I understand why certain people, but also we shouldn't be erasing what actually really happened, right? I mean, I know it's hard to watch, especially for an African American, right? Who wants to watch this, right? But this is what happened, and also, and then from a acting standpoint, you have Hattie McDaniel, who won the first Oscar ever for an African American period, and you're taking that away from her by taking her off the screen. You know what I mean? To what she actually earned. So it's really that's one reason why I love that film. It's really done the way it was the truth. I mean, it was not fun. I mean, it was not fun to watch now, but it's the way it was. That's what would happen, unfortunately, So
A couple other films.
I'm big Friday the 13th horror franchise and Halloween, so I always have
So
a
you're a
toss-up.
Jason fan. I'm a Freddy Krueger fan.
I don't think Freddy Krueger actually is on the radar. He's great, but I mean, you got to keep Michael Myers in the mix there. So
Sure.
it's really Michael or Freddy, or Jason. But so I'm a big horror movie fan. But as far as classics, Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind, of course, Wizard of Oz. I mean, I love just all the. I'm really more of the classics.
So Augie, when it comes to movies, you got anything you like?
He just brought up Citizen Kane. That was a great movie. I was just telling my daughter about it, and my wife had never seen it. Like, we have to see this because the cinematography back in those days,
That's
Hollywood
right.
was in its
that
infancy,
classic
right?
over the things shot with all those people in there.
Right. And you want to find out what the hell Rosebud is. I mean, it's almost like a mystery, right?
Yeah.
I still don't know what Rosebud is besides the sleigh, obviously.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what it is what it was, but there was an attachment to that.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. To your point, a lot of Turner Classic Movie Film Festival skews younger. Believe it or not, a lot of the young kids love watching those classic films, and they were surprised that audience was there like that. And it's one of the best festivals to go to, which would usually be in Hollywood.
Mhm.
I think that'll come back next April, so that's a good.
And that's what we're hoping with Judy Garland, by the way, too. I mean, again, you would think that everybody in the world knows that she is because she's so iconic, and really the younger generation doesn't. But then if you say we don't know who she is, then if you say Wizard of Oz, of course everybody knows right away. Or you say Dorothy, they know right away. So we really want to try and bring that into the 21st century as well, because that body of work. I mean, people know Wizard of Oz and they know like Star is Born, but in the middle you have all these Mickey Rooney movies and Easter Parade and Summer Stock. I mean, St. Louis and these pieces that she did. Even Meet Me in Nuremberg, which is a couple years before she passed away, where she was a Holocaust survivor. Just a straight drama. She was brilliant. And a lot of these things have got missed. So my point of telling you all that was leading up to her birthday, June 10th, 2022. We're going to take like her 21 films and kind of start in mid-March and be showing them somewhere in Hollywood, all leading up to the launching event.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Terri, favorite films?
I like horror movies.
You like horror too, yeah.
I like horror movies, and I like comedy.
You know why she likes horror? Because she can run in a bikini and scream.
No.
That's right.
No, but I like older horror movies like Rosemary's Baby. Like,
Oh yeah.
That's
that kind of stuff. I like movies that are that could actually kind of happen. Like spiritual horror movies. I don't know.
Like Poltergeist.
That clip of time between like very mid 70s to like, I mean, you had The Omen, Rosemary's Baby, The Exorcist, they were
Poltergeist, Amityville Horror, like those older ones. I didn't really get into the Freddy Krueger stuff, but I remember Halloween. Shining's a great one. And I really like comedies. Like one of my favorite comedies is probably Bowfinger. Eddie Murphy. That is like one of the funniest movies ever when they're trying to follow Eddie Murphy. They're making a movie and Eddie Murphy doesn't know he's in it. And Steve Martin is just one of my favorite of all time comedians. I love Steve Martin. So,
Charles?
As a kid, Michael Myers in Friday the 13th were just amazing to me.
So we're all horror movie fans. Yeah.
Every time I go to sleep, I would have nightmares of him like standing at like a cul-de-sac, like looking at me. I'm like, whoa. But now
He
I
actually
like,
was, just so you know.
Yeah, I like comedies now. I like a lot of like war movies. And, yeah, any like action movies. Just like I enjoy anything new nowadays. Like anything new that I haven't tried before or watched, I'm open to watching it. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to experience this.
So for people, so I'm on Epix.
Mhm.
Epix has got some great stuff. They got the War of the Worlds series. They got The Godfather of Harlem with Forrest Whitaker, which is on Bumpy Johnson, which is really good. They've got Leverage Redemption. If you remember that show that Dean Devlin put out, Dean Devlin, if you remember him from Independence Day, him and Roland Emmerich, it's a really good series on grifters who end up conning other grifters and they get redemption back from that. And then there was another one that I saw that I really liked. Obviously, I'm thinking of The Good Fight too. The Good Fight with Christine Baranski, which is just
She's hysterical.
it's
Yeah.
just great. She's just great. Whatever anything that she does. So there's a lot of it. And what's happening these days with Hulu? A lot of times you're seeing things on Hulu, but you might not be able to see them on HBO Max. So you mentioned The Shining. So the follow up to The Shining is called Doctor Sleep. I think that's better than The Shining. And it's a takeoff
Check
of
it out.
that. And you can see that on HBO Max. It's really, really good.
And by the way, question for you: we're all movie lovers here, obviously. Do you think just now we're getting to the spot where they could be going too far? And in the sense that I mean, like for example, I'm a big fan of Godzilla and a big fan of King Kong. They're classic movie, but to watch that movie, which is a masterpiece, I didn't like anything about it. It was watching it. The whole movie was digital, so it's like I mean, you're already like are they going too far to like not and just taking the acting away, taking in so many explosions and blow ups and just like all digital. It's like I mean, half that movie, like I don't know what the hell is even going on. And he has these two iconic monsters that have been like protected like for 50 years, 100 more. I mean, it's King Kong, 1930s, right? But it's like, and it just was like too much. I thought.
Kind of takes away from the filmmaking a little bit.
That's what I mean. That's kind of what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, I agree with you. 'Cause,
Right.
You know, that art farm, it's all computerized. So.
Well, that's why I like the first Quiet Place. It scares you.
Yeah.
Was a good
You
movie.
see,
Yeah.
even Rachel says, they did go too far with Godzilla.
Yeah.
And it's true. But, like A Quiet Place, it was about being quiet. It was scary. Now, Quiet Place 2, no, it didn't work for me. Ruined it. It's just a sequel at that.
Right.
Anything that's scary can be done in silence, and it's what you don't see that scares you. And you don't ever need special effects for that.
Well, it's like Liv Tyler did that one 10 years ago with The Strangers, which was I think was a masterpiece. I mean, I almost,
that was
I'm not
scary.
one. I almost shit my pants, and I'm a horror movie fan. I was
That
like,
scary
and that
movie.
was drilled down. That's what I'm saying. That's the thing that's kind of missing. I mean, to see like King Kong going through like some kind of weird column of flowers. Like, what the hell's going on? I didn't. So I was like, I didn't need to strip it back down a little bit again, a little bit.
Well, and that's why it goes back to classic movies, because classic movies they're timeless.
Mhm.
And I remember asking Robert Osborne, who used to be the host, who's not there anymore. I go, so what is a classic movie these days? And he goes, a classic movie could be 4 years ago now. And my mouth dropped when he
Right.
said that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think of Do the Right Thing, what is it, 25, 30 years?
More than
When
that.
you think about it
Yeah.
now, those are classics. I mean, just to stick on him, even Malcolm X is considered a classic movie now.
Right.
I'm like, wow, there is no date, but they are. We got about 2 minutes left. Chuck, give your social media websites and what you want to happen between now and the end of the year.
Cyberchuck 2.0 on Instagram and on TikTok. And what I want to happen by the end of the year is just continue my process every day. I'm just growing, learning. I'm open to learning every single day, just being able to share my story, motivate and inspire people. And one day, when all this goes down and I can get out and be in an event, share my story and inspire other people, let them know that they can push through it too.
We have some things coming up. You're invited. You coming. Terry, go ahead.
Terri nonstop on my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And then my website is terrimurrayofficial.com.
Augie.
For me, if you want to check out any of my cool stuff, all the products are on Scosche.com. Check it out. It's cool. Also follow our Instagram at Scosche Inc.
Yep,
That's it.
and mine is all just Vince Spinnato, Vince Spinnato, SPINNATO, and I am just locked in with Judy Garland for the next 10 months. Take care of it, so she's full time.
No doubt about it. And also feel free to pick up his book. It's a really, really good, fun read. Yes, everything that happened there is true.
Unfortunately.
You're now full
Unfortunately.
drop on that. My Pursuit of Beauty. And as I always say this, thank you for everybody who's watching around the world. We really appreciate it. We're in a different spot, as you can see. We have to always have different locations. We were going to do it outside, and it was just too noisy, so we moved inside. Thank you, Carl, for doing that. Thank you, Roxy, for doing what you do on the other end. And as I always say, if you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours because the world needs it. I'm Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More, and we will see you next week.